Okay, so
Wait.
you can see that we've done sort of the back half, that half. We still have the front to go. And I went around and did the other side, obviously, too. And I was just gonna mention that, because it wasn't like super clear, so when I was saying to like, to make the shape, it's really just like fluffing up this part. It's hard because he's sitting again. And then making the rounded shape around there. Okay, so the reason that I left this and didn't do it with the rest of the back is just because it needs to stay a little bit longer so that that line is kind of straight. Hi. Don't look that way. Anyways, so that just stays a bit longer than the other side, the other bit here, but you just kind of blend it in, and then I'll start working on his face and neck, and then we'll do legs last because that's the front legs are my worst spot. Okay, so there you can see kind of like how much just needs to be taken off. It's just about 1.5 inches-ish there. So I will go ahead and do that. Okay, so now that we just did that line, that gives me like a guide to kind of do the rest. So I'll trim the rest with the straight scissors just to like, just kind of like into the shoulder, because then again this changes and gets blended and goes long again. So I'll just shorten up this here, and then we'll do it with the thinning shears and blend it. Okay, so that's shorter. You can see how like blunt and gross that looks. So then we just go through and we start to blend. And then brush it out. So it's another good place to refer to the grooming guide. So again, we go really tight in the chest and like the throat and under the chin. I also keep, once you go to the face, so I use the middle of the eye as like my guide to start the beard. All of this goes really tight. Again, from like the base of the ear downwards is nice and tight, and then you just blend in the rest of this. So this is the section I'm going to work on next, because I find this gives me a better guide for like how to do the rest of this. So I've fairly recently done Wallace's ears, but they can use a touch-up too, which I'll just show you. But you can kind of see like, here's the base. Hey, focus, you're that big old mat. Okay, so essentially down here, it's all gonna be tight, and I tend to go with these ones because I can get a bit tighter on him, and then I'll use the thinning shears again just to blend it, but usually this is a pretty close cut. You can see there's like a definitive line there. Obviously this needs to be blended and taken shorter, but I've got the like guide to know where to blend, and then I've started kind of chopping it out under his neck, and then go down to kind of like his, I don't know, shoulder bone or whatever this is here, and that's when I start again blending it to be longer. It's around this mark here. But yeah, so let's go in and we'll use the thinning shears and just make that look a little nicer. Out of the way.
you lick, buddy? Lick. Lick.
And starting to look better.
Wallace, back up, back up.
But
back
still
up.
needs some work. Some work done. Keep working at the neck as we go, but I'll start on the side of the face. So I always just like kind of push the fur up so I know what I'm working with, and then that gets also trimmed short. I also try to keep all of the hair like around the ear here a little bit shorter too, so that it doesn't stick out and it just looks cleaner. And then, so essentially what we do with him is we cut it quite short above the eye and in, so you can kind of see there. And then we let this top bit kind of fall over to blend in the fall, but that gives him a little bit more eye showing as a result. And then we just try to always make sure that his eyelashes don't get cut, because those help hold the hair up over the eye as well. Okay, so we've done pretty good here. We've still got, hey, hold your head up. A few little spots that need to be tidied just to like blend it in, but now that's a lot shorter. I'll still go in over the eye and just like trim out some of these ones that we keep smaller to begin with. And then this side of the cheek will be done. Good boy. Just wait.
Focus.
Just wait.
Good job.
Good boy. Okay, so this is what the good side now looks like. And if we switch over, you can see the other side here. So big difference, obviously. Gives them a bit more visibility, and doesn't really lose that overall shape. Okay, so I pretty much never touch the beard other than obviously cleaning it and brushing it out.
Wait.
It just stays the same. With the top of his fall, so we leave it longer on the top, that's just kind of his look, but I just use the thinning shears to kind of go from around like just above his eyes and just like thin it out a little bit, especially here, just so that those don't hang over too much, but just keeping it blended I just think looks better.
Focus. Wait.
Okay, so for ears, I start by just going around and just trimming with the straight scissors. You can kind of always feel where the edge of their ear is, so I just keep my fingers there as a guide. And again, I just trimmed his ears not that long ago, so he doesn't actually have much going on there, but a little bit. And then again, when you get to the top, just make sure you know where the end of their ear is and use your finger as a guide, similar to what we did with the tail. Okay, so when it comes to the like fur on the ears, Wallace, I just kind of brush it up like this, and then go out, kind of like angle it and just go through and thin out the hair. And then I try to do more just back in here to give the ear a bit more shape, because his hair gets pretty long in there, but I just try to thin it out a little bit around there too. And just keep going through it and trimming that down. Okay, so then moving on to the leg, you can see we're still kind of hairy in here. So again, just start blending this in, and then it starts going longer in here. He's still kind of regrowing out the back there because we did have to trim it a while ago when it got really badly matted. And then we're going to do the same thing around the paws where we squish the fur down and cut it. And then I find it easiest if you want to get the hair out of their pads is to pull the leg up backwards. And another thing I do, kind of hard to show, is I try to kind of pull back the fur so that the paws sort of, the pads kind of open up and you can get in there a little bit more. Looks good. Wallace doesn't like his front paws being worked on in particular. Fluffed out his fur, and then you can kind of see where it needs to be trimmed a little bit to keep that like column shape. So then I'll just go ahead with the straight scissors and just kind of trim that up. And then obviously blend that in because that looks super weird. And then the same on the back. I don't do quite as much in here, but I'll still take a little bit off in there. Yeah. And now we will blend. And then just kind of blend that into the chest area, which is fairly short there, and then same on the legs. Start blending that in. And again, same sort of thing from that I did from the back on the back legs. It's just kind of pulling the fur out there.
Back up.
And then I'll just trim. Well, that's not helpful, Wallace. Just trim to get that looking more straight. Okay. And we're done. Wallace. Hi. So I will also find as he like kind of goes about his day and starts moving around, and I'll sometimes find little spots that need touch up, so just something to keep an eye out for. And then now that it's shorter, I'll like work away at some of the bigger mats that are still hiding out in there and on his stomach, but all done.